I was taken aback when I was leaving my house this morning because my husband said, well, you've done this before. There's no need to be nervous about it. And I turned to him and I said, do you realize that we've gone through 2 years of a pandemic? You cannot take anything for granted. And it sunk. It's like, geez, yes, we've gone through 2 years of a pandemic, and we haven't had an opportunity like this to congregate and be with each other. And it led me thinking about the film festival. We started the film festival way before I came into the picture. Phyllis de Picciotto wanted to energize the arts in Santa Barbara as well as the economic impact of the city, and the festival came into its existence to do that. And when I took over 20 years ago, gulp, 20 years, think about that. I still feel like the new kid in town, but it's been 20 years. My whole mission was to help people congregate, and the arts to me has always been the conduit to bring people together. So the past 2 years for all of us have been extremely difficult, but the mission of the festival was never deterred. Yes, last year we couldn't meet in person. We did drive-ins and honked at each other from cars and through masks, but we were still brought together. And so to me, it's very special to be here. I'm actually getting emotional thinking about it. The fact that the festival is about to start, and its mission to me has become louder and stronger than ever, is to bring people together, to be a conduit to conversation, but it has to be in person. It has to be, I teach, as you guys know, at Santa Barbara City College, and I always tell my students that a work of art is never finished until you're able to tell somebody, what did you think of that? And then you hear the response, and you create, and then to me, that's where art lies. And the film festival to me was always about watching a film and sharing with a stranger your opinion, what stirred in you, what you didn't like about it, how it made you feel. And the past 2 years, we've lacked in that. We haven't had that experience. Everybody has been at home watching Netflix and Amazon and streamers and watching films. We continue doing that, but we've been missing the interaction of human interaction, which to me is essential. My God, I digress. I have to, it's my honor to thank Sullivan Gus for hosting us this year. Thank you so much to the powers that be here at Sullivan Gus, Nathan and his crew for hosting us. I also like to acknowledge people that made the festival essential that are no longer with us. Starting with Mike DeGree, who was with me when we started when I took over the film festival, and recently it's his 10th year anniversary of his death, and a day doesn't go by that I don't think about him, and the festival is where it is because of his vision. And the other person I want to acknowledge is Russ Spencer, who we lost a few years back, and he was always at the press conference. If it wasn't for him, Santa Barbara filmmakers wouldn't have their plays in the film festival. He's the one that was always telling me that Santa Barbara filmmakers needed equal footing with all the other filmmakers, and we've lost them. Last year we lost Nadine Turner, who was the force behind Hotel Santa Barbara. And if you guys recall, 20 years ago when I took over the film festival, the Hotel Santa Barbara became the hub. She was a big cheerleader, a big smiley lady who welcomed guests from out of town as well as locals during the film festival. And we think of her, and we're so grateful to her. And then last but not least, my friend Barbara Boras, we lost this past year as well. She, for 19 years, she did the poster for the film festival, and many of you who were here at press conference remember her unveiling and also her work, which had a lasting impression on everybody. And her work goes in tandem with the success of the film festival. So thanks to all of them. We're deeply appreciative and grateful for your legacy. So on to the film festival. As you can hear, I'm very excited. This is the 37th edition of the film festival, and it will, before I start, I'm super grateful to the festival staff. You see some of them here, of course, Sean Pratt and Jill Remy and Ben and Sherry Stimmitz, people that have been with us since the beginning. I'm so glad that I have such a great team. And then we have a new team member, and she's here. Her name is Claudia Puy. She's the new programming director of the Santa Barbara Film Festival. Claudia Puy is the president of the Los Angeles Film Critic. She's a renowned critic, and she just joined the team. The programming of this year's film festival has been under the leadership of Claudia, and a little bit of exciting information about Claudia and I working together is that both of us are Latino. Claudia is Mexican, and I'm Panamanian, and there is no other film festival at the stature and level of the film festival that has two Latinos at their helm. So that is big bragging rights that I love. Thank you. Well, we've selected to open the film festival this crowd-pleasing, heartwarming film called The Phantom of the Opera. Not the Opera. No, it is called The Phantom of the Open, and it's about golf, and it stars Mark Rylance and Sally Hawkins, and it will be a very, very big crowd pleaser. We need to smile, and we need to feel warm, and this film will do the trick. And closing the festival, we'll have the documentary about Dionne Warwick, which is called Dionne Warwick, Don't Make Me Over, and the legendary singer, her relationship with Burt Bacharach, and Miss Dionne Warwick, the legend, will be here for closing night at the festival. One of other highlights at the festival is the 10th anniversary. I can't believe it's been 10 years. Silver Linings Playbook. We'll do a free screening at the Arlington Theater of David O. Russell's Academy Award-winning film. David O. Russell and other surprise guests will be there for the 10th anniversary screening of that. Claudia has invited to do a celebration of his work, Gregory Nava, one of the fantastic filmmaker in his own right, but he's also carved quite a path for Latino filmmakers. And Gregory Nava will do a retrospective of his work. He'll be here in town, and of course, he made movies like El Norte and Selena, starring Jennifer Lawrence. So, no, Jennifer Lawrence is Silver Linings, but Jennifer Lopez, yes, thank you. I have somebody, yeah. So the festival will feature 48 world premieres and 95 US premieres from 54 countries, and all those numbers, thanks to Claudia and her team, are a record for the film festival. And then I don't know if you guys saw the opening night, the Oscar announcements. We'll have with us Kristen Stewart, Will Smith and Anjanou Ellis. We'll have Benedict Cumberbatch. We'll have Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem, amongst many other stars. And I always, you know, people like John Palminteri and KYT and the indie, you know, sing my praises that I always bring the right people that are nominated, but I always miss on one person. This year, I'm batting 1,000. Everybody got nominated, even people that people were questioning, like Kristen Stewart and Angelou Ellis. Everybody, and Bardem, everybody was like, really? Javier Bardem, Best Actor? Yeah, everybody got in. I should drop this mic. Just, you know. No, I won't do that because it'll rattle the whole room. And there'll be more announcements. I have Montecito Award, which will be announced next week. I know who it is, but it's exciting. Another Academy Award nominee, and we'll be announcing the directors, which we always feature the 5 nominated directors for the Oscars. We'll be announcing the writers panel, producers, women's panel, etc. Claudia and I will be lingering to answer questions. Shout out to Randy Rouse, our mayor. Thank you for being here, Mr. Mayor. He's been a big, even before he was mayor, he was a big supporter of the arts and the film festival, so I'm really glad that you're here, Randy. Speaking of men that I admire greatly in this town, I want to introduce Hank Pitcher, the legendary Santa Barbara painter. And I asked him to join me because we're going to unveil a poster, and that should be a hint of who made the poster for this year's edition of the festival. Ready, Hank? Yeah, you just grab it, lift it up, and then pull it down. Oh. And look, we have Hank Pitcher's signature in the bottom. So, would you like to say something, Hank, about the poster?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Roger and say that he's absolutely right. Art is public, you know. It's not the same when you're at home watching Netflix as it is when you go to the theater. And going to the beach and standing on the beach is very similar to me to going to the theater. There's an expectation, and you're in public. And I think when you, I mean, I grew up in Santa Barbara in the theaters and on the beach here. And there's something about, you know, waiting for the lights to go down and the film to go on, and there's something about standing on the shore, and it's all about dreams and desire. You know, they fit each other. They're about the same thing. And Santa Barbara is about dreams and desire. So I was very pleased that Roger chose this image. It's not something that I would have thought of, but to connect that idea of the beach and kind of the unconscious, you know, when you look at the ocean, you're standing there and wondering what's going to come up in the same way you wonder what's going to happen when the film comes on. So I was very pleased that he asked me, and I'm very pleased with the way that this looks. So.
Thank you. So we'll be here to announce questions, and thank you all for being here. We're super stoked, super excited, and in March 2nd through the 12th, the hills will be alive with the sound of movies. Thank you, everybody. Oh yeah, the protocols. We're going to request that people wear masks indoors, no matter what happens on the state level. We're still going to request mask wearing indoors. Yeah, and then all the staff will be tested on a daily basis to be backstage and be dealing with the public.
Are you going to separate the people from the public?
Separate?
Separate the people from the public, like 3 seats apart or something?
There'll be definitely less, I mean, there'll be plenty of capacity. I mean, how do,
Reduced capacity.
there'll be reduced capacity seating, so people will be able to spread. Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you, everybody. I'll be here to answer questions. So